Hi everyone, it's Lesley from Hungry Heffy Crafts, and today I have a project which is part of a collaboration between Chibitronics and Newton's Nook, and I have made an interactive card. It's kind of like interactive overboard actually. I've made a fun card that opens in a fun way but also has some Chibitronics and the effect stickers, and I've also put a little spinner in the propeller of my image as well. I thought it would be really fun to use this aeroplane image from Newton's Nook and team that up with my lights, but I also really wanted to use the effect stickers, these add-ons. These can make your LEDs blink or flash, and I hadn't used them before this project. I'm also going to use my little template to help me draw my circuit. And I'm going to go straight into that actually, so that you guys know how I use my stamps to help me prepare and build and sketch out my template. So I've stamped my image onto a piece of vellum, and you'll see why I use vellum in a little bit. And I've drawn a circle around that star because that's where I want my battery to be. I've also added some little dots to the wings of the airplane where I'm going to have some white lights, and also a dot to that tail wing as well, which I'm going to add a red light to that. I'm going to use my template, which makes things so much easier, by the way. You can sketch out the exact shape of the little LED. So each of the LEDs from Chibitronics are a triangular shape, and one side is a positive, one side is a negative, and it's important to take note of that because you need to be able to match the negative sides to the negative sides, etc. So I actually went onto the Chibitronics website and found a template for using an effect sticker, and I just copied that, and I'll have a photo here and on my blog as well, so you can take a closer look, and I'll add everything together. Now, one side of coming from the effect sticker, I need a piece of copper that will go over the top of my magnet, or not my magnet, my battery. So I'm snipping away from the side there so that I can fold it over on top of my battery. Let's just get my effect sticker in place, and I've put down my little lights as well, and make sure that you burnish them with your fingernails to make sure it's a good connection. Here's a closer look at the circuit that I've used for today. I've cut some card to 4 1/4 inches wide, and I'm folding that to create the basis for my card. I want my front section to fold over, and this is where I'm going to put my circuit and my little aeroplane, but I want him to be flying through some clouds. So I've grabbed some cloud border dies, and I'm cutting 2 panels with a cloudy top to them, and one's going to be slightly taller than the other one. And in order to create a mechanism where I slide one of these pieces of card up in order to turn on and off my lights, I need to cut 2 little panels, 2 little grooves or notches into the larger of these cloud panels. So I'm using my trimmer to cut 2 lines and then snipping away from the edges with my scissors so that I have 2 skinny rectangles cut out of either side of this panel. This will allow me to slide this up and down with some strategic gluing, of course. Now, as this will layer on the front of my card, I also wanted to add a little bit of a cloud to this back panel. So I use another die to create a cloud to that section too. Moving over to my stamping now, I've stamped this cute little guy onto some Clairefontaine DCP paper, which is a copic friendly paper. And I've also stamped the propeller a couple of times as well. I'm using my copics to very quickly colour this cute little guy in, and I've sped up the video so that you don't have to watch me do it all, but if you are interested in finding out which colours I've used, you can go on over to the Hungry Heffy Crafts blog and there is more details over there. I'm going to be layering the propellers, so I only need to do some flat color on most of them, and on one of them I'll add a little bit of shading, which will be the topmost layer of my propellers. I'm just going to stick this onto a top folding card base so that it's ready to go, and then I can start working on this smaller front section of my card and layering my cloud panels on there. With my notched panel, I'm going to take a pencil and mark onto the front section of my card where those skinny rectangles are and draw a circle towards the top of each of those rectangles. This will allow us to slide this piece of card up and down again. And what we'll also do is cut I guess like a horseshoe shape into this panel, which will come down between the circuit and the battery. Now that I have my image all coloured in, I'm fussy cutting them out, and I'm going to lay my aeroplane over my circuit and mark exactly where those lights are shining through. And then I'll punch a little tiny hole with a pair of plier punches over the pencil marks, and this will allow those lights to shine really brightly through. And you can see here how it flashes with the effect sticker there. I've used a craft knife to cut out that horseshoe shape in my notched panel, and that little shape will come down over the top of the copper tape where the battery will be, and that will allow us to act as our switch. But I'm going to actually adhere my circuit onto the cloudy panel, the front one, not the notched one, the very front one. But first I'm going to pop some holes using my silent setter tool, and then I can position where I want my circuit to be on the back and stick that in place. So this is where it comes in really handy that I have used vellum, because I can see exactly where each of my copper tapes are and where all of my LEDs are. So I'm covering this in sticky tape, and I am adding very carefully some tape along the edge of the battery, making sure not to cover it all because I need that copper tape on the flap to connect to it, but I don't want the cloud panel to catch on the top of my battery either. So let's tuck this little horseshoe shape in through the vellum flap so you can see that this will go like this, and then I can adhere it on the front. So the notched panel doesn't go all the way down to the card base, so that I can add some sticky tape here, and I'll also add a glue dot on those pencil marks inside each of those little skinny rectangles, and then stick that in place. So now I have my two panels, and the larger of which I can slide up to turn on my lights. How fun! And I can push it down to turn it off again. Now for each of my propellers I want this to be a spinning mechanism, so I have fussy cut these all, glued them one on top of the other, used my plier punch to punch a hole in the middle, and then added a little brad to it so that I can have a spinner element on my aeroplane. Now I thought that I would add an extra cloudy section to the front, so I cut that out and just trimmed a notch so it didn't cover over my LED, and I added some stamping to it, and then to finish off the card also added a little ink blending to my clouds and stamped the Eiffel Tower, the bonjour, and the little hot air balloons as well on the inside. And I put some thin foam tape behind the aeroplane just so there was enough room for my propeller to move. So there you have it, a really fun interactive card and a super fun switch to turn the lights on and off again. And I just love the little blinking lights. I think it really brings the aeroplane to life. Don't forget to check out all of the other projects that have been made as part of the Chibitronics and Newton's Nook collaboration. Head on over to the Chibi blog to find out more details. Thank you so much for watching this video. Here's some more videos that you may like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to make sure that you don't miss any of my other videos as soon as they're released. You can also leave me a like and a comment down here, and don't forget to follow me on social media at Hungry Heffy. I'll see you there. Have a great day and happy crafting. Bye!